Welcome to Cafecito. We're here with a very special guest, the one and only Michelle Rodriguez. Welcome.
Hi, how you doing?
You were just honored by Cosmo for Latinas for being the Fun and Fearless Latina of the Year. What do you think makes you so fierce?
I haven't the slightest clue, but I do know that it made me feel really, really special to be there.
You were born in Texas, later moved to DR and Puerto Rico, and then to Jersey City.
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about all the different environments you grew up in, how they shaped you, and also a little bit about your parents and even your abuela, how they shaped you to be the woman you are?
Wow, well, you got an hour, honey? Well, Texas, got the Army brat background, where my dad was in the military. And I lived there till I was probably about 6 or 7 and moved to Dominican Republic. My mother's side of the family is the family that drove me to move to the Dominican Republic because my grandmother wanted me to learn Spanish. That influence is Jehovah's Witness influence. And then later on, my parents divorced. So my dad's Puerto Rican. Later on, I got to know him better. Now, all of a sudden, I'm 11, 12 years old. I'm moving back to Jersey City. And my dad brought this whole philosophical, scholastic tendency. You can't rely on dogmatic religion to get by in life. And so from my mom's side, I got ethics and moral background, and I got the idea that it's the devil's playground, the world. And from my dad's side, it was more along the lines of research. Don't rely on anybody to educate you, which is kind of what I used as an excuse to leave school, even though I know that's not what he meant. So I'm in Jersey City, and I realized, that the public education system is just horrible. And I decided that I would pursue acting.
Apologize to her. Excuse me? You heard me. Say you're sorry. Yeah, right. Come on, girls. Let's bounce.
Did you think that role would have such a sort of
Absolutely
a defining
not. I had no clue. I had no clue. I was just grateful to get the hell out of the ghetto. You know what I mean? And to not have to, work some stupid job. I can't be stuck in fluorescent lighting for half the day. I'll go nuts.
Ready?
Ready.
Steady.
Now, you have a big film, Fast and Furious 6. Can you talk about the reemergence of Letty?
Gosh, what pressure I felt. Just to know that the fans asked for me back and that Vin, fought tooth and nail to bring me back to the franchise, and that the studio finally said, all right, we'll give it to her and we're gonna put $200 million behind it. I was like, I was so nervous. But I think we did a good job, man,
You have a very fierce fighting scene in that film. Can you talk about training for that and actually fighting?
Oh man, well, going up against Gina Carano, my first instinct was, whatever happens, I can't let down that little tomboy screaming in my ear on my shoulder. The one that's like, you better not mess this up. We're counting on you. You know how many massive female fight scenes there are? Probably, maybe you can count them with both hands.
Yeah.
And they're usually like Kill Bill style, like this crazy situation where the girls are getting knocked all over the place, and all of a sudden you're in a room of 50 people and they all drop from like one move. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's not believable. The tomboys don't like that stuff. They want Gina Carano to bring her MMA skills, and they want, Michelle Rodriguez to be fight or flight as the Letty character,
Now, I know a lot of your friends are going to be let down, but you're saying that you're going to step away from acting for a while and concentrate on writing?
I'd love to, but they just announced that Fast and Furious 7 shoots in September, and it's released 2014 next year, July. It's like, I barely will have time to breathe. Es duro concentrarte y poder tener un momento para escribir y inspirarte cuando tú estás trabajando, you know what I mean?
Right.
I'm a fully focused broad. I'm not good at multitasking.
Do you think it's important to have Latinas to have women working behind the scenes versus just acting or being in front of
honey,
the
why do you think I feel it's time? I'm like so ready. It's like, it's so perfect. It was like for many years they were wondering, the audience, was wondering, okay, why are all these girls like, really, we're in the 80s and we're still doing this? We're in the 90s and we're still doing this? The only time you see a woman being strong is in a sci-fi flick. And then all of a sudden, in the last decade, Angie comes into the scene And, you know, many other women come into the scene and just start ripping the game a new perspective. The fact that I have had to rewrite every single role that I've been in, excluding Girl Fight and Avatar, says a lot about Hollywood. And now, in today's day and age, girls actually despise a girl who's weak and don't want to see her. And even the guys react negatively to the hot girl that's just there to bone. They're like, I could go to Hooters for that. You know what I mean?
Right.
So there's a demand now, and that's just a perfect time to go in there and just do some really cool stuff.
You're a sex symbol, you're beautiful, but you're fierce. You know, a lot of people are intimidated by you. Do you find it hard to date? And also, what kind of person do you look for in a mate or someone to hang out with?
It's incredibly hard to find a date. It's interesting, you know. It's either I attract the most masculine of men.
Stay tuned for the conclusion of our interview with Michelle Rodriguez as she discusses her love life, her upcoming roles, and advice for young Latinas.